Welcome to Wholesale Hotline, where we cover everything to do with wholesale real estate. I'm Jamil Damji.
I'm Brent Daniels.
And I am Pace Morby.
And together we cover the most important parts of wholesale real estate.
Lead generation.
Conversion of sellers into contracts.
And dispositions. Guys, remember when you're watching this show, do us a favor and squad up in the comments.
Make sure that you are liking and subscribing to the YouTube channels and in the Facebook group Wholesale Hotline.
Most important, we want to know we're doing a great job for you and helping you build your business. So go give us a review on iTunes and or Spotify.
So squad up and enjoy the show.
Welcome to Wholesale Hotline number 232. I am your host, Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP, Mr. Talk to People, and we'll be joined here shortly by Pace Morby, who is running around doing deals, and maybe Jerry Norton. I don't know where Jerry's at, but let's start with this. I think that this is really important as we're looking at wholesale properties, that we understand that the inventory, the amount of available properties on the market depends on how much we can sell our deals for. Let me explain why. This is supply and demand. When there's more supply than there is demand, prices go down. When there is more demand than there is supply, prices go up. So when you're looking at this chart here, guys, it's really important to understand where you are at in the deals that you guys find. All right. Now, I'll show you a quick way to be able to pull inventory here through realtor.com. But this is what you want to do. You want to look at how many months of inventory is going on in the specific city and areas that you are finding a deal. All right. It could be different from Mesa, Arizona to Laveen, Arizona. Big difference, actually. Big difference between Surprise and Scottsdale here locally. So it's really important that you pull very specific, the area specific. I think I've said that 3 times now. So anyway, if there's more than 2 months of inventory, you're going to go 70% minus the repairs equals your wholesale price. Right, that's what you can sell that deal for if there's more than 2 months of inventory. All right, it's the classic 70% of fixed up value minus repairs is your wholesale price. Then you have to subtract what you want to make. I highly suggest that you go for at least $15,000 per deal minimum. What's your average right now? 25. I love it. 25,000, even better. Push that value. Push how much you make on that. And that is your MAO, your max allowable offer. That is not the former dictator of China. That is your max allowable offer. Now, if there's less than 2 months of inventory, you're going to go 80% minus repairs is your wholesale price minus your fee equals your max allowable offer. And if there's less than 1 month of inventory, and yes, Jason Lombardi, does anybody ever pay 90% of that minus repairs? They do. Go to San Diego, go to Seattle, go to certain parts of Austin, Texas, go to Miami. I mean, they'll basically pay whatever for those deals and those opportunities. So it's really important that we take a look at that and use this calculation to help you, because if you don't, what happens is if you've got a really fast, hot market and you're offering way too low, you're going to get beat out every time. Now, listen, if people are, if you're the only one negotiating with a property owner, and you're able to get a really good deal using the numbers that you use, and it doesn't matter the inventory that you have, go for it. It's just a bigger deal. But if you keep losing out, it's probably because the inventory is tight in your market, and the other wholesalers are offering more, and they're able to beat you out on those deals. Pace Morby, how are you, brother?
What's up, bro? I'm so sorry. I had somebody ask me for my advice right before Wholesale Hotline started. He goes, I just need 2 minutes. I'm like, bro, nothing lasts 2 minutes when you're asking for my advice, man. It takes 30 minutes. So sorry for me showing up late, guys. This is a great topic, by the way. Keep cooking, bro. I'm going to be sitting here watching you cook.
I'm going to do this a little bit here, Pace. Now, finding discounted properties, that's essentially what I would define wholesaling as, is finding discounted properties. People would say that maybe it's an assignment, and I understand that, but I think that at its core, being able to build the skill of finding discounted properties is the foundation for everything else, for fix and flip, for building your rental portfolio, for developing properties, for being the bank, for coaching and mentorship and giving back at some point. But it all starts with finding discounted properties. Would you guys agree? Yeah, 100%. What do you think, Pace?
Yes, 100%. I made 45 grand today, and I was sitting there like, it was 3 deals. The average deal was like $15,000. And I'm sitting there going, how is it that I made 45 grand before lunch? And I then get to take my daughters on dates, and then I get to come back and do a podcast, right? And I'm like,
it's the best business ever.
It is the best business ever. I could just go, oh, you know what? And then I had this person go, how do rich people think differently than poor people? They asked me in the DMs today, and they said, here's how I think. When I want something, I divide it by 15,000. Meaning, if I want to, let's say, landscape my house, and it's going to cost me 100 grand to like build a big landscaping thing, I go, oh, no problem. That's just like 8 wholesale deals.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think in terms of deals. I don't think in terms of money anymore, because it's like, I find a wholesale deal, I pay for a thing in my life. I want value. I want money. All I have to do is create value by finding a wholesale deal, and I divide everything into that. Oh, I have a house that's going to cost, I want to go buy a $5 million house. I know these are crazy things, because when I first heard this, I was like, that's not possible. It's not real. Guys, it is so real. And I think in terms of wholesale deals, I want an extra 300 grand to go buy this house. I want an extra $50,000 to do this. I want to take my wife on this extravagant vacation. I literally divide everything by $15,000, because that's my average fee on a deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I just go, okay, that's 2 wholesale deals, no big deal. And then people go, okay, so how do I become rich? I go, figure out how to find wholesale deals and create $15,000 checks. Now, Brent's checks are much larger than mine. Okay. He's got a different method and different things that I do. But I look at it and go, your entire life is like just one skill away from changing completely.
Yep.
Not just financially, but also the confidence you have in being able to go, yeah, I can go commit to big things. I can go buy a bigger house. I can go live a better life. I can put my kids from public school to private school. I mean, guys, you hear there's kids now that are like furries in school where they have like, do you know about this?
I mean, not personally, but I can imagine.
There are so many kids nowadays, and it's like school after school. It doesn't matter if it's in Oregon or if it's in Montana, okay? Missoula, Montana. There are kids in elementary school, high school, that are saying, I'm a cat, I'm a this, I'm a squirrel. You guys are required to have a litter box in the bathrooms for the furries to go to the bathroom. And I'm like, that's an easy wholesale. Somebody was telling me this. I go, oh, that's a wholesale deal away from being solved. And they're like, what do you mean? I go, a private school costs 15 grand a year. Your kids can go to a private school where that kind of crap does not happen. That's just one wholesale deal away from you solving that problem. Every single problem I have in my life, I divide it into a wholesale deal.
Yeah, it's amazing, Pace. I mean, literally with this thing right here, we can go find a property that's in rough shape. We can get the contact information for the owner. We can call them up and have a conversation with them and make an offer on their property. And that doesn't cost us anything. We don't have to have a tremendous amount of skills off the bat. We just have to do the work. Conversations and offers, guys. If you, and literally, I think what Pace is saying here, I know what Pace is saying here is you're one conversation away from the deal of the week or of the month, of the year, of your life. It's one conversation away. Every deal happens after that conversation. So how many are you going to have this week? What are you going to do? What massive imperfect action are you going to take today to build your business? Because it is without a doubt, there are way more deals than there are us going after them. Way more deals.
Yeah, I would say that my biggest problem is I don't have enough time to handle all the deals that I have access to.
Yeah. I like that. I was going through this on my on my show last week, Pace. And there's probably one more like buy and lend here for the slow flippers in the audience here. We just had a conversation about this a second ago. But really, once you get a lead coming in, is it a retail? Are they looking for, the highest price, and they've got a good condition and they've got good equity and they can sell it with a real estate agent? Is it somebody that wants to be hands off and do an ovation? Is it a cash as is offer? Is it a lead that you can buy and flip? Is it a lead that you can buy and hold? And beyond buying and really lending, what else is there?
Yeah.
And so if we figure out how to make money in each one of those, there's only 6 of them. There's only 6 things and if you have 6 options for every lead, you can squeeze the most out of every single lead. And the more that you squeeze out of every single lead, the more income you can put back into your business, back into your pocket, back into your marketing machine. Now you're off and running, right?
Yeah, it's interesting. I'd love your thoughts on this. I was watching a Michael Zuber podcast, one rental at a time. And I was on, here's what happened. I get a DM from somebody and they said, how many rentals do I need? Do I need to be like you with 2,100 rentals? And I was like, honestly, it depends on the individual. I'm a lunatic. I want to be worth $1 billion. Why do I want to be worth $1 billion? Because I want to be worthy of $1 billion. I don't care about the $1 billion. I want to stretch myself and, extract as much as I can out of this life. And so I'm building more rentals because it's a guaranteed way for me to get to that number. And so this person says, so do I need 2,100 rentals to be financially independent? I go, no, you need like 4 to 20 rentals to like never think about money really ever again. To have a completely different retirement, you need 4 to 20 rentals. And I did this on Instagram Live. I was talking about it on Instagram Live, and Michael Zuber comes on and he says, oh my gosh, he made a whole YouTube video about my Instagram Live saying, oh my gosh, this guy Pace Morby he has 2,100 rentals, but he's telling you only need 4. That's what I've been talking about the whole time, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, it just kind of depends on who you are. And this is what I tell people. If you just want 4 rentals and continue to work your 9-to-5 job, wholesaling is probably not for you.
Nope.
It is not for you. You want to control the real estate flow. You want to make millions of dollars, and you want this business to replace your W-2 and replace the other businesses that you're probably active in, and then cherry pick the best deals for yourself over time and build a rental portfolio. This business is for you. But if you're somebody that's like, I'm going to stay at my 9-to-5 job and I want to buy 1 rental a year for the rest of my life, this is not a business for you. Wholesaling is not a business for you. It requires constant work. Even if it's an hour a day, it's not something you do hour a month. It's something you need to do 1 hour to 3 hours a day minimum. So, see Christy Frazier, she says, I can't wait to replace my W-2. I'm over it. Okay. But there's other people that are watching this that are like, I don't care about quitting my W-2. I like it. Maybe I'm a nurse and I work 12 hours a week. Maybe I'm a fireman and I work 3 days on, 4 days off. And maybe I'm an airline pilot and I work a week on and a week off. That's kind of the best W-2 on the planet. Why would I want to stop doing that? Okay. Wholesaling might not be for you because you probably only want to buy some rentals. And if that's the case, then I would tap into people in the audience that are finding wholesale deals and buy deals off of them. Okay. But this is a business that requires a lot of effort and requires you to learn lots of skills and requires you to understand the start to finish of a real estate transaction. And honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. It's the greatest business I've ever been a part of. Whether I want to wholesale it, I fix and flip it, I buy and hold it. A lot of what I'm doing right now is I'm buying subject to deals and seller finance deals, and I'm turning around and selling them on wraps. And I'm getting paid upfront plus $100,000 kicker on the back end, which is massive amounts of money, especially when I'm doing 20 of them a month. I'm creating $2 million a month in net worth growth. $2 million a month. That's not possible part-timing it. It's just not possible part-timing it. So,
well, even like you would have to have a very high income earning job, Pace, to consistently buy. I mean, what's the average? What's the average that you have to put into a rental property if you're not sourcing yourself, if you're buying it retail, if you're buying it from real estate agents, or maybe, I mean, most people don't even know what wholesalers are. So you're going to your real estate agent and you're going, hey, I want to buy some rental properties. You're putting 10% down, 20% down.
If you're a Burr strategy investor, you're putting 25 to 35% of the cash of that deal into that deal.
Right.
And why is that?
That's if it needs renovation. That's if you can even handle a renovation. That's if you have the contractors for a renovation. That's if you have the patience for a renovation. That's if you're getting a discounted property.
Right.
How are you going to get a discounted property? You're going to beat out the pros at the auction. You're going to beat out the pros on the MLS. You know what I mean? How does the general population even buy rentals that need to be bird pace?
The general population is going to their real estate agents and buying properties basically at retail because they are, I always say Burr investors are the laziest human beings on the planet because they don't learn the skill of learning where deals come from. And so they buy a deal that's been marked up 3 times typically, or they go directly to the MLS and the agent has no clue. I had an agent yesterday called me up. She wouldn't listen to Wholesale Hotline. She didn't even know it. She said, hey, my name is Olivia, and I've got a 1031 exchange client that has $10 million they need to roll over into another deal. And I said, okay, no problem. I can help you out. And she's like, okay, but before we start, can you tell me what a 1031 exchange is? I was like, you have a client that's $10 million to 1031 exchange and you don't know what that means? Guys, the agents who are finding deals for these Burr investors are typically clueless as to what the value of a property is. They're chasing commissions. Yep. They're not figuring out how to make sure that the buyer, the Burr investor, is actually getting a good deal. And so most of these Burr investors are putting 25 to 35% down, and they're keeping the majority of their property or their cash tied up in these properties for probably 3 to 5 years until they can get it out. So the best thing you could ever do if you're a Burr investor, or if you're like me, is control where the deal comes from.
Yep.
And that was the greatest skill I ever learned, was where does the deal come from? You could literally drop me anywhere in the country with my cell phone. And by the end of the day, I can make 15 to 25,000, not even by the end of the day, within an hour. It is truly the great, I pinch myself, pinch. Is this real? I can go and make $15,000 in an hour or 2 hours just by using my phone.
And people will ask, how, Pace? How would you do that? You get dropped in the middle of nowhere. How are you making that money?
You want to know? I'll tell you 5 different ways. First one would be go to my Creative Finance with Facebook, Pace Facebook group. If you're not in my community, just go to the free Facebook group. There's a deal in there. I could do 5 different things with that. I could either buy it in my portfolio, use a private money lender. Oh, Pace, I don't know where private money lenders come from. Okay, cool. Go to pacesprivatemoneylenders.com and you can get private money lenders there. I would wholesale. I would take somebody else's deal, find a buyer for it. Literally within an hour, I could do that. We showed you guys how to find buyers on propwire.com like 3 or 4 episodes ago. We literally like, here's where you find buyers. I can literally go find a deal sitting in a Facebook group right now, get it under contract, go sell it to somebody else for $10,000 or $15,000 higher. And you're going to get people that say, no, that's too much money. Great. Perfect. Move to the next person. I got a no today on one of my wholesale deals. And somebody's like, let me get the math right, blah, 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 blah. And they're trying to like work me down. And I then sold the deal to somebody else, took a screenshot of that person, say, wow, this is an amazing deal. And I sent it to the person that said no to me and go, hey, even though you said no, this person said yes, sorry, I won't be able to come down on my price. For every no out there, there's a yes on wholesale deals. You don't even need to be the one calling the leads or negotiating the leads. You could go to other wholesalers and help them wholesale, which is what Jamil Damji focuses on. So if I needed to do that today, I would go to find properties that are already under contract. Go to Keegley.com, go to investorlift.com. I've got a property in Kalispell right now that's on Crexi.com, CREXI.com, a commercial property. I found a buyer who had recently bought, and I said, can I go find you another thing? I locked it up today on Crexi. I made $300,000 in an assignment today, literally today. Now, I had the buyer this morning, and then I go, what are you looking for? I went on Crexi, found an owner finance deal. I went back to the buyer and said, if I could get this on owner finance, would you take this from me? He goes, yeah, I'd take it at this price. I go, perfect. I go back, I get the contract. I go back to him. I go, perfect. Here's the assignment. $300,000 today. My biggest assignment I've ever made happened today, start to finish. Now, for people that are brand new, they're like, that's impossible and that's hard. Yeah, you're right. If I told you to do it as a brand new newbie, you wouldn't be able to do it. And just like anybody else, you're not going to be able to dunk a basketball or, hit a hole in one on a golf course the first time you pick up a freaking golf club. But that's why you treat it like a game, and you get out there and you start looking for deals and you start having a lot of fun.
1,100 a day. 1,100 people become a millionaire every day. Every day. Dimitri's right here. Look at this. Dimitri lives in Belgium, does a ton of deals, does over 100 deals a year, virtually, all on his phone, just him, every single year. I mean, absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. But I look at this pace and I ask this question a lot. I don't know any really high paid. I definitely don't know any kind of between $100,000 and $250,000 a year professionals that own 40 rentals plus. I don't. That just are going to buy one a year for the next whatever here and there and in all of this. I just don't. At some point, they go into this business full time. At some point, they focus in and they go, okay, I'm going to be able to earn my income from really learning how to be a real estate entrepreneur. You know what I mean?
Yeah, all my doctor
has
friends,
it in here.
All my doctor friends, all my engineers, all my like high level income earner friends are all like, I want to quit my job. I've got a buddy today that sends me a message. He's like, I've been watching your YouTube channel and I'm sitting here. Like, think about this. He goes, I've got 8 years until I'm retired from the Army.
Mm-hmm.
And the Army has tricked me into believing that that's a good choice. Yet I'm watching your videos right now and I could make 10 times more money than my retirement could ever bring me. And I wouldn't have to rely on the government, and I wouldn't have to spend 8 years of my life trying to get a pension that won't even cover my costs and all of this stuff. And I go, yeah, bro, like when the student is ready, the teacher will, show up. And I've been saying this for years and you won't pay attention, but somehow, some way you finally are paying attention. You will absolutely make way more money doing this and you'll be way more free than anything else. But people are more willing to go put 8 years into the Army to get a $5,000 a month pension than go and learn a skill for a year to earn $25,000, $35,000, $45,000 a month because it's hard.
Listen, my grandma lives next to me, right? And she's in this beautiful assisted living home, right? Literally right next to me, but it's $5,500 a month. $5,500 a month. Now she sold her house. She got some inheritance. She's able to pay for that. Most people don't have $5,500 at 90 years old. Guess what happens there? Grandma becomes it goes on your, and this is going to sound harsh, but it's the absolute truth because liabilities take money out of your pocket. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying from an emotional side. I'm not saying from that, but the family has to take that on at some point, let alone, I mean, Pace, you have how many siblings? How many siblings do you have? How many kids do they have?
I have 10 living siblings.
10 living siblings. You've got countless, but you probably can't count it, nephews and nieces and all of these things. And if other people in your family are not leveling up their financial game, what happens when something bad happens and they need $100,000 for a surgery? What happens when something bad happens? And right?
Yeah.
Who are they going to, bro?
Me.
Right. I'm just saying, like, you might think that like having $2,000 or $3,000 or $10,000 in passive income, like that's good. Keep pushing, because as you get older and as your kids get older and your aging parents get older, and there's people young in here that aren't even thinking about this right now, but the bill's going to come due. And if you want and have that in you to really have to be that bridge to really help people go with some sort of, not putting them in some like really low income housing that the government has or whatever else, or thinking that the government's going to take care of them. You better step your game up. We got to think bigger. You got to think in millions. You got to think in passive income going bananas. I'm telling you, I mean, I get it, Pace, when you're saying, you can retire at 4 or 20 or whatever rentals, but if you don't have that real significant income coming in deep in life, it's going to be a problem. And I look at that just, Seamus is my nonverbal autistic son and, or on the autism spectrum. And that's a lifetime. That is that never ends. There's not that goes on forever. And he's, and hopefully he outlives me, far outlives me. And it's like, if you're not, if you have that fire in your belly and you're watching Pace and you're watching me and you're watching Jamil and you're watching Jerry and you're going out there and something is blocking you from taking that massive action to go do something special every single day, let this be a reminder. The bill is coming. The bill is coming, and it's coming for every single one of us. And if you have that potential and you're not putting that potential out, that is the biggest regret you'll have in your life. So we got to think bigger on the show.
It's tough. I mean, even me, I remember when I was 24 years old, I was like, please, somebody teach me how to make $5,000 a month. If I could make $5,000 a month, I'd be set.
Yep.
And now I'm like, if I don't make $5,000 a day, I got a problem. Right. So, you only think bigger as your environment changes and the people you're around also changes. And
yep.
I think the first step is reminding ourselves where we were before we knew this, right? I was a contractor. I didn't know wholesale was a thing. I saw real estate. I saw podcasts about real estate. And at the time I would listen to these podcasts. Like I'll give you a good example, really good example. I was listening to Brandon Turner on his podcast a couple of days ago. He had a guy go through and talk about like 10 different exit strategies. And I was like, wait, you guys literally spent 2 hours talking about 20 different strategies, but neither one of you told me the steps to take to actually do any of them.
Right.
No wonder I was confused 10, 11 years ago when I first got in this business. I thought I was an idiot because I was like, I can't get it. These podcasts are not giving me what I think I need, and I just need to see it in person. Guys, the reality is most podcasts don't actually give you what you need. Okay. They speak in ambiguity, in generalization. Ambiguity is like, oh yeah,
go get a deal.
Harder. Go get a deal. Go find a lead. It's like, oh, you're right. Yeah, you're right. I should go find a lead, but nobody really ever shows you
raise money.
Raise money. Yeah. And it's too general. It's too ambiguous. And so what I love about like Brent Daniels was one of my first mentors. Jerry was one of my first mentors. Jamil was very, very, very first in my career. Jamil was very first in my career as one of my top first 3 mentors. I was able to like get around people that changed my life. And with me and Brent, it was honestly just, I joined TTP. I was already doing 10 deals a month, but I did not know how to generate leads on my own. I was buying leads from somebody else. And getting around the right people was the biggest difference for me.
That's it.
It was the biggest difference for me. And getting around them, hearing them, watching them, seeing them, new habits, new conversations, new goals, new dreams, new terminology I didn't hear other people saying and speaking. It's very similar to this. This summer, we're hanging out at Jerry Norton's lake house. And I'm telling my daughter, hey, get on the tube. We're going to go tubing. And my daughter's like, absolutely not. I'm not getting on a tube. And no, I'm not going to swim in the lake. And no, absolutely not. There's no way you're going to get me to do it. But then she started watching Jerry Norton's daughter getting on the tube and having a blast and, going around. And then that daughter, her name is Evelyn. Evelyn started saying, Corbin, come on the tube. Corbin, come on the tube. But because it was her peer, she actually would listen to her and she was watching her do it. The biggest difference was not so much that I was not Corbin's peer. The difference was I wasn't on the tube doing the thing saying, come with me. I was saying, go do it, go do it, go do it. And all of a sudden, Corbin's out on the tube, standing up. She's jumping off the tube. They're going 35 miles an hour. She's jumping in the lake. And I'm like, what was the difference there? What was the difference there? It was because somebody that was doing it was encouraging you to come towards them rather than you just yelling at somebody and barking at them and saying, go do the thing and generate the lead. And so you look at like Jerry Norton makes a lot of seller calls, generates a lot of leads on his show. Brent Daniels generates a lot of leads and makes calls and negotiates and does the thing. Okay. Same thing with me. I did this. This is what's so interesting to me is that people will say, where do I get started? Yet they won't go and watch a series on YouTube of like how to get started. And I go, watch me generate a lead, watch me make the first call, watch me set the appointment, watch me in the appointment, watch me in my third call, watch me do the follow through, watch me do the like literally I just did a series on my YouTube channel for this subto deal that I bought and I'm turning into a co-living property. And I documented where the lead came from, showed it, made my first call as a 45-minute call, put the whole thing on YouTube. Then I went to the appointment as a 2-hour appointment. I then had a third call with this lady, closed her over the phone. All of this is documented. And then somebody the next day is like, where do I get started?
Mm-hmm. But right? I think there's something to what you were saying before with Corbin. You see, I assume it was Corbin. You could go out there pace and you could get on that tube and you could do backflips. You could be hitting the wake and jumping up and spinning it around and landing it and being like the super master at it. But until you see somebody that is like you, is like, you know, like your the two daughters looking at each other going, wait a second, you know, she's not this big expert over here and she's doing it. Maybe it's okay if I do it as well. You know what I mean? So it's great to have your teachers. It's even, I think, you know, even more important to have peers that are there showing you, you know what, I'm scared of making these calls too, but I'm about to go do it. You know what I mean? And I think that's the biggest evolution in what we do as teachers and coaches is bringing all the people together that will want to cheerlead and want to get in and really uplift everybody that's getting started out and say, listen, it's scary and it's going to be tough. It's going to be the toughest thing that we do, but let's do this together. Let's really push this. You know what I mean? I always seen that's the biggest thing. And I think that's what you and Jamil have been on the road, literally teaching this and showing everybody that they should be squatting up. That's the whole heart and soul of this show that we've been doing for 4 years is you know, the squat up. You got to squat up with people. That's why we're all in the chat here. Just to, you know, maybe you're in a different YouTube channel or Facebook group or whatever else, but connect with somebody that's actually going to do the work. That's the filter. Are you going to do the work that you say that you're going to do? And can we do it together? We've got the guides, we've got the teachers, we've got the coaches. They're going to put us in the best position to win. But do I have the cheerleader and the support that's going to help me along the way? That's the combination.
Yeah. There's a lot to like people's trauma, right? Like I don't have a capital T on my trauma. Other people do have a capital T. I wasn't molested. I wasn't taken, you know, and like put into sex trafficking. I didn't have, my parents were married. I grew up in a religious household. So like, I have a lot of leg ups over other people. I totally get that. And I think a lot of people are struggling with mindset in a big way, but they don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that mindset's a big part of it. They don't want to hear that until you become successful, you look back and you go, oh crap, this was like 99% mindset. And one of the first pieces of mindset that I would fix is you will never make $1 in business without another human being involved.
Yeah.
And think about it. If you can come up with a business transaction that you'll make money on, any transaction you'll make money on, where there is no other human being involved and you can just go make money on your own, tell me what it is. Yeah. I would love to know what that is. Yet people go around their life thinking, I have to do it myself. Nobody wants to help me. Right. And there's another that's the second thing. Okay. The second thing, first thing I would learn mindset wise is I can never do this on my own. Therefore, it requires me to get around other people, whether it's hiring a coach, whether it's getting around a community, whether it's going to meetups, whether it's joining somebody's team, whatever that may be. That's the first thing I would fix in your mindset. The second thing I would fix in your mindset is the hobbies that you have in your life right now. Watching TV. I watch TV every day. I love watching TV. I love storytelling. I love laying in bed with my wife and watching, you know, Yellowstone or whatever. So there's nothing wrong with it. But if you really took an audit of your life and you looked where you spent your time, you would find that most people waste 4.5 hours a day is the statistic. 4.5 hours a day of waking hours, not their sleeping hours. You take the
Right.
eight or 9 hours out a day of sleep. You take your 8 or 9 hours of work away, plus your commute to work. If you are tied to a desk job, which most people are not tied to a desk job anymore, you are still left with close to 8 to 10 hours a day. 8 to 10 hours a day. Take 3 hours out for showering and reading and communicating and loving on your kids and being around your wife. Okay, that leaves 5 to 7 hours a day. Yet people are like, oh, I don't have time. I don't have time. Bull crap, you don't have time. Bull crap, you don't have time. And so this is the way I tell everybody to think about this. This is the second piece that you have to fix. If I came to you and I flew to you, okay, wherever you are, right? You've got Jasper, son. Good to see you, brother. If I flew to you and I spent a week with you with only a notepad and a pen and paper, okay? I get a pen, I get a piece of paper, and I sit there silently for a week. Would I be impressed at your time commitment to your business? Or would I, at the end of the week, go, dude, this guy literally wasted 30 hours. 30 hours. What would happen right now? Literally right now, if I hung out with you this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and I just documented everything you did, let's say we even add 3 hours of bullcrap fluff. I got to watch podcasts. I got to learn. I got to research. I got to network. All that kind of stuff. You are still left with 5 hours a day, people. And I can tell you that most people in wholesale don't need full 5 hours every day just to do 1 or 2 deals a month. You do not need that much time. So I look at it and I go, that's people's biggest problem. They have what Brent used to say all the time, creative avoidance.
That's
creative avoidance.
Well, and Pace, if I were to stand behind anybody on here, anybody, and I gave them $1,000, 10 crispy $100 bills every hour that they did something productive on the phone, just picking up the phone, calling well, whoever you want to call, real estate agents, property owners, people that other wholesalers, whatever it is. If I stood behind you and gave you $1,000 an hour, I would have to tear you off the phone. Tear you off the phone. Yet that's what I mean, you can make way more than that. You can make way more than that an hour. I mean, it's wild. And you mentioned something before, Pace, and it's about cheering on the people that are getting going. It's about giving support with people that are really trying to make the change. Alex Hormozi had this great quote that he said, the people that get the most applause are the people that need it the least. Right? Yes. They've already made it.
Yeah.
They've already made it. The wind's behind their sails, right? You know what I mean? The momentum's already going. It's the people that are going and starting and building a new skill that's scary. Change is always scary because if it wasn't, it wouldn't be called change. You'd just be you. You'd just be satisfied with who you are. But if you're not, we gotta have some conversations and make some offers, baby.
Yeah, you know? it's a different world too, and it changes over time. Joshua Dees, he says, Pace, you seem depressed. Bro, I've never been depressed in my life. I've had people file bankruptcy and I've lost millions of dollars. I've had people scam me $1.3 million last December, and I had a smile on my face. I got laid that night. My wife and I had a great dinner. My life is always great every single day, bro. Every day. Sadly, God gave me this face that's called a resting bitch face. And and then also my voice always hurts. So I'm not yelling all the time. And also I'm aware that like I could echo because I'm in my downstairs office, but my voice hurts all the time. My vocal cords are in pain all the time. Somebody's going to come in here and tell me I need a vocal coach. You need to do more deals before you tell me what to do. Kiss my ass, first and foremost. My voice hurts because of what Brent just said. When you realize how much money you can make by being on the damn phone, you never stop talking.
Yep.
You're constantly doing and working deals. And
Well, even when we're talking pace, we'll be on the phone for 45 minutes and it'll feel like 2 seconds. You know what I
Yes.
mean? It's like you still are on the phone. It's just with different people, depending
Yeah.
on where you're at in your business. And then if you really get into the Rich Dad Poor Dad, where we all kind of, it's kind of the seed of where we all get started. He talks about being self-employed and being a business owner. And when you're self-employed, you're the one banging the phones. When you're a business owner, somebody else is banging them for you, but you got to earn that right. And I highly suggest you don't let somebody that's going to, have the lead generation, which is the engine of your business, be paid $2 an hour, $3 an hour. Get somebody that's really good, that's going to be the top tier talent. And you got to earn that. The way you earn that is by building up a big, healthy, heavy bank account and a big, healthy, heavy pipeline of opportunities. You do that and you could build a real business. And so, but yeah, to go back to your voice, I don't think you have a resting bitch face.
My wife says it that I do.
But
She says,
yeah,
you do
she's
have
a better,
RBA.
she'd know.
She's learned to not ask if I'm mad because I'm always happy. I ask my wife, guys, DM her. Ask her.
Can I answer this one here real quick?
Yeah,
Matt, can you upload this, the 17 steps, and we'll go through all of this.
Eddie Sports Money. Just so you guys know, we've been doing the show for 4 years, and I'm gonna tell you guys the third mindset thing I would fix. Okay, I already gave you 2. The third thing I would fix is I would write down on a piece of paper and write down, I am resourceful. Because most people are not. They're not resourceful. And if you just sat there on my YouTube channel and you sat there for a week and you just watched 2 hours of videos a day, your life would not even be remotely the same. Joshua Dees, he says, sorry, I didn't mean to offend. Bro, that's the other thing. I don't remember the last time I've ever been offended. If I ever say kiss my ass, it's to be entertaining and be funny. But I also have very dry humor, so people think I'm mad. I'm not mad. I'm not upset. But the third thing is the biggest thing for me. I look at everybody. I'm like, go to my YouTube channel, go to Brent's YouTube channel, go to Jerry's YouTube channel, go to Jamil's YouTube channel, get motivated, get information. If you sat there for a week, your life would never be the same. Look what my wife says. She says he never, ever gets offended. I don't complain. That's for bitches.
Mm-hmm.
I am happy every day. I don't find reasons to be unhappy. I watch that with people all the time. Their life is so perfect. They've got all these great things. They've got great health, and they still find reasons to complain and bitch and moan. That's not me. I'm always helpful. Last thing I'll say, because I want Brent to go and answer this question about the 17.
Matt, you got that?
The 17 steps, step by step. Here's what I want to do. For the people that are just tuning in today, we've been doing the show for 4 years. So imagine what we've talked about on this show. Imagine what we've talked about on the show. Go back and watch it in 2x, 3x speed. Now, the next thing I want to point out to you, okay? The biggest thing that I wish I could educate people on is that if every single goal you have is your goal, all about you, all about yourself, you are nothing but a whiny little bitch. Did God put you on this planet? Did the universe put you on this planet so that you could just pay your bills and you could get rich yourself? No. This week, I helped 3 families move into houses that they couldn't afford. I helped an employee get a car. I paid payroll, massive payroll. This is not Brent doesn't love this topic, but I pay a massive payroll. I have 600 employees between my companies. At some point in my life, I needed somebody to remind me that I was put on this planet to learn skills to not pay my bills, but to help other people pay theirs. Okay. When the why is big enough, the how is insignificant. And so what I watch people do is like, I need to make $5,000 a month. That's a bitch goal. It is just a bitch goal. You're not thinking big enough. It's all about you. The universe does not move heaven and earth so you can pay your bills. When you start thinking, I need to become successful because it is my responsibility to take care of other people on this planet who cannot take care of themselves.
That's it.
The universe will start parting heaven, earth, and even move mountains for you. It has shown up in my life, whether it's a God thing, a Buddha thing, or reptilian gods from outer space. I don't know, but I do know it's a universe thing. And when I start having goals of like, Look, my wife and my kids have the best possible life you could even imagine. I don't wake up in the morning and say, how do I pay my wife's bills and my kids this and the dance class? I don't think that way. I say, how can I go and help as many human beings as I possibly can? And the universe showers money on me because I go out and I do it. And so when you guys are sitting there thinking I have a goal of $5,000 or $10,000 a month, I wondered why I couldn't get traction. My goals were small. The people that I was hanging out with were small. The family members I talked to, their conversations were small. Every single thing in my life was small until I ran into wholesale and I was like, ooh, finally something that can get me thinking bigger. So Brent, I know you're going to go through the 17 steps to every wholesale deal. I imagine you guys have talked about this on your channel in great depth. Is that correct?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So guys, if you feel Brent's going to go through this, but if you feel like you need more context and more content, go to Brent Daniels' YouTube channel and you'll get way more information about this specific list. Go ahead, Brent.
Yeah. First, it all starts with generating an opportunity. And so you have to figure out what you want to do. And there's only 3 ways to get a lead, guys. Only 3 ways. One is get a referral. Somebody knows that you buy houses. All right. This is the top of the pyramid. They're the best of the best of the best because it doesn't cost anything. It is just setting up your reputation. So every day you should be posting something to social media that says, I buy houses every day. All right. But until that starts going and starts building up some momentum, you're either going to be spending money for people to call you. That's called marketing, or you're going to use your time and efforts and skills to reach out to property owners. That's called prospecting. So you got to usually pick in the beginning, are you going to market or are you going to prospect? All right. If you don't have $5,000 to $2,000 a month to spend for your marketing, stick to prospecting, stick to just reaching out to property owners every single day and asking them if they would consider an offer on their property. All right. That's just a fact. That's where most of us start. That's where I started. And that's what really built the momentum in my business. All right. Next, you got to make contact with them. That's step 2. Right? How do you make contact with these people? That's your lead generation leads you to having these conversations. When you're having those conversations, you're pre-qualifying them. You're pre-qualifying them based on 4 main factors: the condition of the property, their timeline to sell, their motivation, and their price. You pre-qualify them before you do due diligence on the property. 80% of the conversation that you have with the property owner is nothing to do with the property. It is about their problem. It is about their current state that they want to get out of, and they want to go from Hell Island over to Heaven Island, and you got to see what path they want to take to get there. All right. That is the whole point. 80% is about the person and 20% is about the property. Once you do that, then you can do your comps. Then you could look at the property. Stop comping properties before you know somebody actually wants to sell it. And that is, by definition, a lead. A lead is somebody that wants to sell their property. They've already made the decision. It isn't people that you're trying to convince. It's not people that you're going to all of a sudden open up their mind to the possibility of how great of a market it is to sell. They've already made the decision. So then you do your due diligence. You follow up with that lead.
This could not be over. You could not spend more time on this. Like it's crazy how important what you just said is. So I do this thing every Thursday, Brent, called Day with Pace. And so I let 15 people fly into my house, wherever I'm at, whether it's Montana or Arizona, every Thursday. And I give a whole entire day to 15 people. What we do is we go do a morning activity. It could be rock climbing, whitewater rafting, flying a Black Hawk helicopter, flying planes, going through Glacier National Park, shooting guns, whatever it is. We do some sort of ice-breaking activity. And then the rest of the day we spend building business, and I do things for them. So last week I had a gentleman named Mark out of Arkansas, comes in, he goes, Pace, I've got a lead. I don't know how to have this conversation with this person. I go, love it. I love it. Let me talk to this person. He goes, okay, what information do you need? I go, none. He goes, you don't need the address? No. You don't want to hear about my previous conversation I had with him? No. And he's like, well, how are you going to talk to him? I go, watch me. And it was 24 minutes of me finding the pain the seller had, extracting it, revisiting it. And the seller by the end of the phone call was like, will you just take my house off my hands? And after the call, Mark says to me, he goes, "You did all of that without comping the property." I go, "Because it's never about the property."
Yeah.
If you do not understand this, right? A lot of people forget, like the reason why the subto community has this as our logo is because people go, "Oh, it's subto." Yeah, that's kind of a double meaning, but the real reason why we have this is because of bunny ears. And the story of the first deal I ever did was how I helped a lady rehome her bunnies. And that's why it reminds me every seller has bunnies. Every seller has problems. And if they don't have problems, then they're not a lead for me. I can't help them. Okay. It's like if I am a dairy farmer and I'm trying to sell milk to somebody who has they're lactose intolerant, that is not a prospect, a lead, or a deal I will ever close. Those people are allergic to my product. If somebody doesn't have significant pain and I can't help them go from holy crap island to I'm on heaven island, like Brent talked about, that is not a lead, a prospect, or anything for me. It is so important for you to go out and find the pain and only talk to people that are motivated sellers. And it seems simple, but when I first started, I'm like, okay, so who do we talk to? And I would think that you would just call random people. Nobody's calling random people. There's never a time where I've ever called a random person. It's like people that are in foreclosure, they're going through divorce. Maybe they have high equity and they've been in the property a long time. Maybe it's an absentee owner. It's a code violation. It's a expired listing. It's 50 other ways that you find these leads and these opportunities. And they're in such abundance. Brent could have spent 5 hours on this exact topic. I've never done a single deal in my life, never, and nor will I, that the seller did not walk away saying, "You saved my butt." What my situation, my mindset, my family, my this, every single seller that we do a deal with says, "You saved my butt."
Yeah, you got to build the internal pressure for them to make the decision. They're going to close themselves. You can't build internal pressure if you're making assumptions of what's going on in their life. You need to have them tell you. And when you get really good at this, it's really difficult to let them tell you because you've heard the same thing over and over and over and over again. You still have to go through the process of discovery. You have to pull that out of them so that they are making that decision themselves. That's how you anchor in that decision for them to work with you. It truly is. And then from there, appointment, but whether that's a virtual appointment or whether that is in-person appointment, your offer presentation, that's where you go over the terms and the price and terms of the agreement. You get that contract accepted. That's a signed agreement. And then you open up escrow and deposit whatever earnest funds that you are responsible for. You then market that contract to your cash buyers. You go through a cash buyer inspection. If they want to go into the property, you assign the deal. You verify that they put their earnest money in. Your cash buyer puts in their earnest money. We always require $5,000 non-refundable. And then you let the title company do their job. And the 3 sweetest words in real estate, clear to close. Boom. That means that the title is all ready to close. That means the funds are in. For the buyers, that means it's good to go. You don't have to go through a long period of time unraveling a lot of nonsense in the title. You close the deal and you get paid, baby. And then repeat. That's it. That's the whole process. That's the whole process. It all starts with your ability to have a quality conversation.
And here's what's going to happen. Peter is a really good highlight. In between all of these checklist items, you're going to run into all sorts of problems, issues, mistakes, everything along the way. And this is where you learn. So right now, Peter's saying, why would a seller wait 8 days until auction, then ghost me when I'm his only option? I don't understand. Because the seller doesn't know what you know. And the seller is working on 5 other potential things right now, which is either A, he's got a wholesaler lying to him. B, he's got an agent lying to him. C, he's trying to do a loan modification. Or D, maybe a bankruptcy attorney called him and said, let me help you file bankruptcy. There's always a reason. And it's very rarely about you. So what you need to do in foreclosures, okay? Brent, how many times Do you save a seller from foreclosure 8 days before auction versus saving a seller from foreclosure the day before the auction, percentage wise?
Yeah, I mean, it's they're waiting to the very end. You know,
Yes.
they're waiting to the end, because here's the thing. You haven't done a job, Peter. If I were coaching you and I was looking at this specific situation, I would say you didn't make it clear that for them to go from Hell Island to Heaven Island, the best path is to work with you with a cash offer or whatever it is, whatever your solution is. Because they're looking at refinancing, they're looking at loan modifications, they're looking at talking to real estate agents. They've got all these different bridges, and you have to discover what is the best bridge for them to cross. Let me help you understand this very clearly. You're not always going to be the best option, but you don't know that until you do the discovery, until you understand what other bridges are they exploring. And that's what you bring up in the discovery process. Why not just do a loan modification? Why not just get some, and Pace, we have a video of this from like 4 years ago. Why not get a loan from your family? Why not get get a loan from your auto title or whatever? Why not go and sell this on the market? Why not whatever, right? You're going through all the different processes, all the different bridges that they can cross to solve their issue. And if you're not the clear winner, they're going to be indecisive, and they're going to get wiggly.
Yeah, I've got a really good video actually I put up on my YouTube channel a couple of weeks ago. And the video is me talking to a seller and walking through a deal with her. I got to pull this up, but I basically give her 3 or 4 options. And I kept asking her, why don't you just list it? Why don't you just do this? Why don't you just do that? Why? Before I even told her what I had to offer, I kept asking her, why? And here's what this resulted in. Let me pull this up and show you guys. Do a little screen share if possible. And you'll see right here, I end up meeting with her in her home. Mm-hmm. And I go through and I still give her all the options. I'm lining all these things out for her. I got off the phone with her and I sat down and I'm doing illustrations. I'm talking to her and I'm writing everything on a sticky note. And she goes, this is what she says to me at the end of the appointment. She says, you don't even have a briefcase or like any paperwork. Like, you came here without a contract. And I said, why would I bring a contract when I don't know I'm your right solution?
Yeah.
And she's like, are you kidding me? Everybody else came here with a contract and a pen, and they're putting all this pressure on me. I said, the only pressure I would want to put on you is just to tell me the truth, and so I can find the right solution for you. Yep. And she's like, you're joking me. I'm like, no, why would I want to do a deal with you if I'm not the best solution for you? And all of a sudden she starts being way more open and honest. She then tells me she's in foreclosure. Yeah. Subto, she says, Subto Shanna says, yeah, that's a great video. She's a friend for life. I just did a deal with her. I closed the deal like a week ago. I got a testimonial from her, and this is the funny thing, guys. I'm like, hey, Sherilyn, can I get a 10-minute testimonial for like future sellers? And she says, no problem. 10 minutes is fine. I could not get her off the Zoom after like 45 minutes. She kept talking about how much this saved her life and how she trusted me and all of that kind of stuff. So just remember, when you are working a foreclosure, you need to lay out all her options or their options so they clearly, like Brent said, clearly know. And if you go and watch the YouTube video, check this out. Let's check this out. Let's go watch the video of Brent and I. This is one of the most important videos you guys could ever watch, which is the foreclosure process and what we offer a seller and what we make sure we go through with the seller. Let's just Google this, right? Let's Google Brent Daniels, Pace Morby, foreclosure. Check this out. Boom, 2 years ago. I think we redid this one.
Yeah, that's in my studio. It's an older video.
Oh, wow. Yeah, this is good. We did that one 2 years ago. Door knocking, foreclosures. That one's really good. Oh, here it is. Foreclosure mastery. That's what it is.
Yep.
This video 4 years ago, 16 minutes. By the way, I still have this whiteboard. It still makes all my YouTube contents in my office. But here's all the examples and all the ways you guys need to go through. Like, hey, did you get a personal loan? Did you go through an agent listing? Did you look at a loan modification? Have you thought about turning this into a rental? What about a cash offer? What about sub two? You go through every single option. And if you haven't talked about all these things, then they're off ghosting you because they don't want to talk to you until they have an update on everything that they're working on. And chances are you just thought you had good rapport. No, you don't have rapport unless you give them all the options. Okay.
And listen, usually when people are ghosting you, they are going to sell their property, and you've gotten that out of them. And they're just seeing if it's between you and another company. You need to explain to them what happens when they sign an agreement with somebody that doesn't have Google reviews or doesn't have, some sort of backing. And this is just once you get in the rhythm of doing this business, you got to treat it like a real business. You got to get Google reviews. You got to have your testimonials. You got to do all those things. And that's not going to really get you the deal, so to speak, but it'll help you. And the other thing is when you're having these conversations and you're competing against another wholesaler and they come in way higher than you, you need to have a conversation with the property owner that says, listen, they're never going to close this. This is not a deal that they're going to close. What people are doing is they're putting you under contract and then they disappear and then they put a memorandum against your title and you have to pay them to remove that. And usually they're charging $10,000. This is happening all the time, guys. This is happening all the time. People go out, they'll lock up the property at any price, put a memorandum on it. And that would be like you put your car for sale and you have somebody come over and test drive it. And they're like, oh yeah, I'm going to buy this. And you're like, okay, good. And then they're like, I'm going to go to the bank and go get the cashier's check and then I'll be back. And in that time, they somehow put their name on your title of your car and they never show up again. Could you imagine that? Can you imagine? Oh yeah, I'm going to go to the bank and go get the money. And then they just don't show up again. That's what's happening. So you got to explain that to people as well. If they're looking at multiple offers and there's some that are significantly higher than yours and it's just somebody messing around. There you go. What do you think, Pace?
I just was looking at YouTube and I'm looking at like people watching Tucker Carlson. There's like 24,000 people watching that live. And I'm like, it's so interesting how people get so embroiled in and embedded in politics and religion and all this bullshit. Right. And then like these people on Tucker Carlson, I love Tucker Carlson, super entertaining. But I'm like, when have I ever sat down, listened to politics, listened to a presidential election, listened to anything, and it's made me more money? Ever. When has that ever happened? And is money everything? Yes. Okay. Money isn't everything, but not having it is.
Money isn't the most important, but it affects everything that is.
What does Kanye West says? He says having money isn't everything, but not having money is. And I look at this and I'm so grateful for the people who come in and tune in. We've got roughly 500 people tuning today between a couple of YouTube channels and a couple of Facebook groups. Appreciate you guys. Bounce around from the YouTube channels. You guys will see people and content or be able to network in the comments. This is great. Alicia says, I need to build relationships with private money lenders. Got to go to pacesprivatemoneylenders.com. Every month I drop a new list of $12 to $13 million in private money. Okay. That is not true. Without it, it is hard to live. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Michelle. It's not having money. True. Okay. Yeah. Where were you better off 4 years ago? Yeah. Well, even with Trump, even with, it's like everybody's like, oh yeah, Biden is this and the deficit and the blah, blah. I'm like, guys, before Biden, Trump had the largest deficit in history. Before Trump, Obama had the largest deficit in history. And before Obama, Bush had the largest deficit in history. It doesn't matter who you are. Republicans and Democrats are all robbing you blind. And the people that are smarter in here are going, how do I make more money? Because the only way I can control anything in my environment is is make more money
That's
and
it.
learn more skills.
I hope you're 4 years. I hope your life is better 4 years from now than what have you been doing? What improvement have you been doing? It has nothing to do with what's going on there. I mean, let's stay focused. Good market, bad market, good distraction, bad distraction, whatever it is, just put in the work and talk to people every single day. Be brave, make offers. That's it. Go through the process, find people that are going to support you, and you're set. You're absolutely set. I mean, you can learn everything on YouTube and podcasts and everything from a education standpoint. But implementation, you need people for that. Implementation, you need to squat up with people. You cannot do this by just sitting on the sidelines and watching and being a voyeur. You could know every technique that Pace has. You can know every single way to close a deal and never close a deal. It's like a guy that knows a bunch of good pickup lines but never gets laid. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, okay, great. I mean, you've got that down, but anyway, I think
what good isn't the information if you're not putting it to work? Let's see here. Pace, I've been watching a bunch of your videos. Do you have one that shows where to get tracks made up to do this? I've made the great contacts to do this. So I never give out creative finance contracts. The reason is because it's like handing a loaded gun to a child. I hire a top tier TC. Okay. Email Molly at pacemorby.com and say, Molly, where is a top tier transaction coordinator that I can hire to help me out with paperwork and do all the things? Molly at pacemorby.com. By the way, a lot of people really appreciate when I give resources like this. So Molly is my chief of operations. If you guys need an investor-friendly title company anywhere in the country, any 50 states, email Molly at pacemorby.com, and she will also give you access to our favorite title companies in every single state. Molly at pacemorby.com. Okay. There you go. Michelle Rice says, yeah, I know too much for my own good. Still working on that first deal. This is maybe where I differ from Brent just a little bit, and Jerry and Jamil as well, is that I don't think your first deal has to be a wholesale deal. I also think your first deal could be lending on somebody else's deal. I think your first deal could be the transaction coordinator for somebody else's deal. And I think Brent agrees with this. It's not that he disagrees. It's just that, the main focus point of this show is Wholesale Hotline. There's people, my wife being one of them, that are incredible on the phone, incredible at doing the tasks that I suck at. So for example, I'm really good at getting a seller under contract, meeting them in their house. I have a very high emotional IQ. I can extract things about a seller that nobody else on the planet can, at least in my cocky mind. But then after that, I don't want to have anything to do with the transaction. I want to move on and go get another contract. That's my personality. I think Brent's probably exactly the same way. And who does the paperwork? Who runs my organization? My transaction coordinator. My wife used to be the one that stopped foreclosures. She would coordinate all the transactions. She would communicate with the private money lenders. We've got transaction coordinators out there making $250,000 to $500,000 a year doing paperwork for people in the community. You don't have to be a cold caller. You don't have to be a door knocker to make money in this business. There are so many abundant ways to make money. Okay. Look at Molly Tennant. Molly Tennant is my COO. She gets 20% of all my real estate holdings. Molly will retire with $30 to $40 million. Why? Because she joined my team. She's on my team, and there are multiple places for you guys all to fit in. I'm addicted to what Brent teaches. I'm addicted to calling sellers. I'm addicted to sending offers. I'm addicted to solving problems. Miss me with all the other clerical operations, integrate. I don't want to deal with it at all. I don't want to be in the office. I don't want to manage employees ever. And so just so you know, there are people in this live right now, 500 people in here live. There is a place for you in this business. I've counted up over 51 different ways to make money from a real estate transaction that does not have you being the wholesaler. Now, being the wholesaler gives you the biggest checks and the most control But if that's not your personality, not only is there no shame in it, I think I'm actually ashamed that I'm a wholesaler. And here's why. Because we're the dumb asses that are out in the field with the sword knocking down all the barbarians. Meanwhile, somebody else is in the castle all safe. We are barbarians. We're out there with our big, heavy swords, attacking the goblins and doing the things. We're the brunt force of the real estate industry. But it fits my personality and I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. And the fact that I could just wake up tomorrow and go, I'm going to make 50 grand today and make it happen by helping a seller or helping a buyer find a deal is insane. But if you're somebody out there that's sitting there going, I don't know if that's me, I would go watch my Avatar series. Okay. Go watch my Avatar series on my YouTube channel, type in Pace Morby Avatar, and it will go through 22 of my 51 ways to make money from a real estate transaction. And you'll be able, let's see, great analogy, but wholesalers pave the way for us. Yes, they do. Absolutely, they do. Okay. I'm just telling you, you're not going to win a battle without the barbarians, the Brent Daniels, the Pace Morbys, the Jamil Damjis, the Jerry Nortons. But guess what? We ain't doing any of the paperwork. We're not running the business. We're not doing any of the banking and the financing. I'm not doing disposition. To be honest with you, I don't think I've ever sold an actual deal in my life. I really don't think I have. I have buyers, but somebody else on my team has always done it. I've never done that. I'm just the guy that's like, get me on the phone. But guess what? There's somebody else that loves talking to buyers. There's so many ways to make money in this business, my friends. So many ways to make money. Okay. There you go. Subto, Shanna says, wholesalers bring us work. Yes, they are the faucet in which all the flow comes from. Okay.
I'll tell you what, though, you learn how to sell. Selling is serving.
100%.
Selling is serving. That's all it is. You know what I mean? When we crack open that door and find those opportunities, that is a skill that they can't take away from you. You know what I mean? And maybe that's not your personality. Maybe it's not your, the label that you put on yourself. But you better find somebody that can. You better find somebody that has the gift of gab, so to speak, that can go and talk to strangers and make them friends, because that's a true skill. And
yeah, I had a team the other day, Brent, that came to me and they were asking me for advice. And I do this one-on-one with their team. And I'm, it's like 5 people on their team. And I'm like, hey, where's your visionary? And they're like, what do you mean? What do you mean visionary? I was like, the person that gets on the phone every freaking minute and calls and talks to sellers. Like, where's that person? Are they sick? Are they showing up? And they're like, we need one of those. I'm like, so here's what they set up their team. Somebody was lead generation.
Yep.
Somebody was submitting LOIs, letters of intent. Another person was lead management, and another person was disposition. I was like, so who's the closer? Like, who's getting on the phone and selling the person I'm working with you?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh, we're working on that. I'm like, no, I'm sorry to say this to you all. I'm going to offend you all. None of you have a job until you have that person.
Yep.
None of you are going to make any money. You're going to spend money on software and leads and all this kind of stuff, and you're not going to make any money. And in 4 months, you're going to go, wholesale sucks because we spent all this money on leads, but we never got a deal, because you don't have a closer on your team. You need a Pace Morby. You need a Brent Daniels. You need a Jerry Norton. You need people that know how to close deals. And there's a lot of them right here in the side chat. Okay. A lot of TTP students, a lot of subto students are phenomenal on the phone. Mm-hmm. So when Brent says squat up with people, that's what he's talking about. Go in the side chat and go, hey guys, I need somebody who's good at closing deals. And I'll bring this up. This is a perfect example right here. Okay. Selena Rocha, she says, Pace, I found an ugly house. Where can I sell it to? Well, who has spoken to the seller and negotiated a contract? By the nature of your question, it sounds like nobody has. So it's not a deal. It's not even a lead. It maybe is not even a prospect. It's just an ugly house.
Yep.
What if that ugly house is just, they're getting ready for Halloween? How do you know they have pain? How do you know they have a problem unless you talk to them, right? Who is the person that's going to talk to that person? Okay. You need to find somebody in the side chat right now today that knows how to talk to sellers. So if you guys are out here Where are my closers at? Say, I'm a closer. Put your name in the side chat. We got 400 and some odd people in here, almost 500 people here today. If you are a closer, put in the side chat, say, I'm a closer. Let people connect with you right here in the side chat. Last time I checked, we, probably the last time I'm sorry, not last time I checked, but last time I saw a deal get done in the side chat was 2 weeks ago. Somebody made 50 grand by helping another person connect or close a deal in the side chat. Okay. So you look at like a Nicholas Emerson, and Nicholas Emerson's like, I can talk to anyone. I love to talk to people. I think that's my strength with this. Yes. Guess what? I don't generate leads. Somebody else does for me. Everybody sends me the basketball. I stand on the 3-point line like Steph Curry, and I just shoot all day long. Don't waste my time with anything else. I shouldn't be doing the concession stands. I shouldn't be selling tickets. I should be standing right on the 3-point line. Feed me the ball. Feed me the ball. Feed me the ball. That's what the closer does. They stand there. They do nothing but close the deal. Okay. Ooh, this is great. Pace, what's your biggest multifamily regret? I bought it. I overpaid for a property and I didn't do an inspection on it. Wow. Sorry guys. We got
Party time.
We got a storm coming right now and all the girls are losing their minds at the house. So I overpaid for a property without an inspection, and the property needed $250,000 more in renovations than I originally planned. And yes, I have bailed myself out of situations with wholesaling and fixing and flipping. That's the answer to the question.
Yeah, I think, listen, if you are in this business for any length of time, you are going to take some L's. You're going to take some L's on some deals, right? Especially if you're getting into flips. Maybe you're doing a buy and hold and the market shifts a little bit and you got to hold on to that property. But I think if you're going to buy a property to hold, you should plan on doing it for the long term. And unless you're, kind of leveling up with a 1031 exchange to buy something bigger. But yeah, I mean, you're going to lose. You're going to lose on some of those. That's why, if you're wholesaling, it's fee income. Usually the only thing that you lose would be earnest deposit if you really do a kind of a bad job of understanding the schedule of things and understanding what your inspection period is. But you learn so much more from the failures than you do from the successes. I'll tell you that. You learn a lot more from the really tough sellers than you do from the really amiable, super easy to work with sellers. You should be looking for the challenge of the day, because the person that has the most challenges and gets through the most challenges is going to be the most skillful, and the most skillful get paid more. And so look for those tough times, look for those tough conversations, look for those tough deals, and think about ways to be able to get those deals closed.
Yeah. I mean, this is
there we
awesome,
go. Come on, Gossie. Come on.
Good job, Gossie. If you guys look in the side chat, right, we've got a lot of people that say, hey, I'm a closer. 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 Lots of closers in the side chat today, guys. So go over there. Those are the people that are out there making the phone ring, closing deals, all that kind of stuff. Okay. Man, $250,000 more in renovation is a big difference. Not really. Not really. I mean, when you're doing multifamily deals, guys, this is why I also will fight with anybody in multifamily. I have way more multifamily properties than I do single family. I have 1,500 multifamily doors. I only have 300 single family doors. Multifamily, I have a property in Houston that I own. It's a $110 million asset. $250,000 on an overage of renovation is a drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
Okay. So multifamily is not for beginners. I'm going to say that again. Don't get shiny objects with multifamily. Okay. Multifamily, you do not get paid on for a long time. Unless you're an LP, and people are going, I don't know what an LP is. Guess what? There's a lot to learn in this business, my friends. An LP is a limited partner where you give somebody like me money. Okay. And I go buy an apartment building and I send you a monthly or quarterly distribution. That's the only way you make money in multifamily for the first 5 to 7 years. Okay. So don't jump into multifamily until you have a lot of momentum in your single family properties and your wholesale business. Okay. How can I get access to more personalized training to be part of the community or practice? Alicia Morgan, go to DM me and I'll give you a link for subto. You could DM Brent Daniels. He'll give you a link for TTP. I'm a TTP student. I'm an Astro student. I'm a flipping genius student. I'm a student of everything. I will absorb everything. I want to be, you can't get a PhD if you only take one class. You know what I'm saying? And I'm always doing all that. Pace, would you consider buying those A-class properties like Cardone does? No, that's not my game. I think maybe in 5 to 7 years that potentially will change. But here's the problem with A-class properties is that, and Grant's a good friend of mine. Text him frequently. He's been on our stages. I've been on his podcast 3 times. Amazing guy, great marketer. If anybody doesn't like Grant, it's because he's good at marketing and he knows how to get your attention. That's why you don't like him. If you knew him behind closed doors, you'd be like, damn, this guy's awesome. So he makes his money before he even raises capital for his deals. What he does is he'll find a deal for $100 million. He'll buy it with his capital and then he'll sell it to his fund for $110 or $120 million. So before he even raises money, he's made $20 million. So he's learned in his life, nobody makes money on A-class properties except for way, way over time. So I might as well create a situation where I can make money up front. Now, some people like that. Some people don't like that. But A-class properties, honestly, at the end of the day, guys, multifamily just takes a long time to make money. It's a surefire way to make money, but it takes a long time to make money.
Okay? Well, are you buying it for cash flow? Or are you buying it for wealth building and appreciation? And obviously, debt buy, pay down, and depreciation, and all the other benefits.
I will never do a multifamily property without significant cash flow. They're just too dangerous to take on because they're not just a single family property. For example, like let's look at this. I'll pull this up. I'll show you one of my more recent deals and show you guys how they're not for the faint of heart. Okay. They're full on businesses. Multifamily is a business. It's not real estate. And you guys need to understand that multifamily is not real estate. It is a business. It requires employees and leasing agents and all sorts of things. So here's a property I bought on seller finance, 160 units. I own this down in Tucson. I bought it for $20 million. And I get a check from this personally. I have a partner on this. I get a check from this every month, $1,960 or something like that. My partner does too, and some other people that invested with us also get money. That property is not only appreciating, but it shells out about $50,000 a month in cash, 50 grand a month in cash. So, breadwinner, what's better for a beginner, buying a business or buying a multifamily 32 plus units? Okay. Let me ask you a better question. Have you ever managed an employee before? Have you ever delegated before? Have you ever had a cash crunch? Have you ever figured out, oh my gosh, I don't have payroll this week. How am I going to cover my payroll? Have you ever done marketing before? Do you know how to brand your product? Do you know how to get your product to market? Do you know how to go buy a business and double that business? If you don't, buying a business is a massive liability. Massive liability. This is why a lot of people will go buy a laundromat or a vending machine business, because you can do a laundromat to a certain degree. You can make about $6 grand a month on a laundromat net, but then you've basically bought yourself a job. But the reason why people like laundromats is because they don't require you to have delegation responsibilities. You can run those all by yourself. Okay. A lot of people.
Oh, I think the storm is a brewing in Montana there. Yeah, it's interesting. Buying a business or buying a multifamily 32 units. If you're a beginner doing that, I hope that you have significant resources and significant partners for that. Typically with a commercial property, you're going to have somebody that has some experience, maybe not at that level, but maybe depends on what that is and what the price is for those 32 units. It's an interesting either or there. Yeah, I don't know. As a beginner, I mean, unless you're loaded breadwinner, I mean, your name would suggest that you're loaded. So maybe, go buy that 32 units and see how it goes. But it is a business. Any property that you own is going to be a business, right? And you've got managers of that business. That's why they're literally property managers, right? And so make sure that one, you're buying in areas that are going to appreciate over time, and that you you really run the pro forma on it, and you really understand the cash flow from it, and you really understand the expenses that are going to be involved with those properties. Because you're always sinking money back into the properties that you buy. Always, always, always. Whether it's just through maintenance or whether it's through big improvements. Remember, every 10 years, interior design changes. And I don't care if you're owning multifamily or single family, you have to change up what's going on with the look of your property, or you're not going to get the highest rents that you can. So always think about that. Always make sure that you've got some reserves to be able to keep those properties up and to fix anything that pops up. All right. So make sure that you're looking at that, and make sure, as we close the show, great show, by the way, guys. I was thinking about this, and I don't remember where I read it or saw it or something like that, but really watch what you say to yourself. Really watch what you say, because, you know what? It was a Bruce Lee quote. And he says, never say unkind things to yourself, because you are literally putting a spell on yourself. That's why they call it spelling, right? Isn't that interesting? That, like, the way that you talk and the way that you're putting these things, and you're putting bad things out there on other people, or especially yourself, knock it off. Try to challenge yourself that this entire week you'd say nothing but positive things. Nothing but positive things about what you're going to accomplish. Nothing but positive things about the experiences that you're having. Nothing but how powerful you are. The fact that you're even on this planet is bananas. 1 in 400 trillion that you're even here. I mean, that's crazy. So let's not go and put terrible labels on ourselves, or get down on ourselves when we get rejected, or get down on ourselves because we haven't made it to where we want to make it yet. Right? Let's do the reverse. Let's spell ourselves in the positive. Right? Let's put that good vibe inside of us. Let's talk really positive about ourselves and what we can accomplish. And that's always going to work. It's always going to work. So remember spelling. Remember that. Like, let that sink in for a little bit and really take it hard, because you don't want to curse yourself, right? So unless you're going to curse yourself in the positive way. So I love you guys. Really great show. Thank you for joining us. Wholesale Hotline number 232. We're out of here. Love you guys. See ya.
Or just say squat up.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
What are you doing?
I didn't say nothing.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Cool. I think we should use the one where Jamil doesn't say anything.